Welcome to the Carr Brothers with Jeff, Jack, and Jody Carr. They talk about current events, politics, community, and business. Take it away, boys.
Hi there. Welcome to the Carr Brothers Show. It's episode 153. I'm Jack.
And I'm Jeff.
And we want to say that Jody sends his regrets. He's not able to make it for
on the
this
road
episode.
Today. He's on the road.
On the road, and I can't wait to have him back next time, and we'll chat about his trip to Rio de Janeiro for Inclusion Canada. And
he was invited to speak at an inclusion conference down there in Brazil, and by all accounts, looking at the photos, he had a great time and had lots of photos and was able to speak to lots of people about principles around inclusion and the benefits of that in the school system and society. And he does get asked to go around the world and talk about that in other countries that maybe don't have as high standards as we do with inclusion. So what are we doing today?
Well, we're very happy. We have our guest here with us. Very, very pleased. A friend of ours, Allain. Thank you very much, Danny, for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're very pleased. For people that may not realize, Danielle is a candidate for the Progressive Conservative Party leadership that's taking place next year. You're a former MLA from the year 2020 to 2024. Worked in the Premier's office when I was elected. You were in the Allward government Premier's office from 2013 to 2014. CEO of MB Liquor as well. And you're one of the biggest jobs you had as being elected was Minister of Local Government.
Yes.
So we're very pleased to have you.
Thank you. And again, look, when you have 30 years of private and public experience, we can talk about bios all we want. But I know New Brunswickers in the Carr Show, we want to talk about issues, so that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, guys.
Well, what drove you? What's driving you to run for the PC leadership?
That's an excellent question. And I think people day in and day out ask me that question. I think there's two things. So number one, I think the most important thing is I've been with the PC party in New Brunswick for 30 years.
Wow.
And I want to give back. That's one thing. As you indicated, I worked for 3 premiers. I'm a conservative with a heart, and I want to show New Brunswickers that the PC party is socially progressive and fiscally conservative. We talk about issues. We talk about how proud our party is. You know, we have a long tradition of having good government. So that's, I think, the primary reason. And the second reason, I think, it's we all do it for our kids. I have 2 beautiful daughters that I want to brag about day in and day out. Both one is going to the University of Ottawa, and the other one at the University of Moncton. And it's to show them that you can give back to your community, and it's important for me. So those are probably the 2 primary reasons why I'm getting into politics. It's natural for me to do politics. I'm in the people business. I love to work with people. As much sometimes it's tougher because with social media and what you say, what you see on social media, sometimes people can be hard. So that's all right. It comes with the job. I've got big shoulders, and we'll see where it goes.
And what have you been? So you announced, I believe it was October the 18th, and launched on October the 20th. And how is the leadership campaign going? I guess it's, a month and a half or so?
Yeah, a month and a half. So I think this last summer I was taking the time to talk to friends, to family, my own family, to decide, do we move forward with this? Right. It's always the biggest decision. And I think we made that decision as a family the first weekend of September. So to your point, we got together. We've got a group of probably 50 to 60 individuals right now that are part of my core team. I have 5 co-chairs, and we are working. The PC party in New Brunswick is divided in 9 regions. So we have one co-chair for 2 regions. We have poll captains in each of the 49 ridings. So that I'm really proud of. And right now it's just to, again, the application process is arduous with the PC party. So you have to put your application. You need to there's an application fee of $35,000. So we got that in 72 hours.
Wow.
So that was good. I did my interview a couple of weeks ago, 10 days ago now, through back check, credit check, and all that. And right now I need 500 people to endorse my name. So it's electors do endorsements. So we need 7 out of the 29 regions, 7 to 9 regions, we need 20 signatures.
Okay.
So that's a again,
Wow.
you need members. It's the process of the PC party is you become a member for $10, then you pay $40 to partake in the exercise of the leadership contest.
Okay.
The 19th of June is the last day that an individual, his or her name can be put forward on the ballot. And we start voting on the 14th of August to the 14th of October, 100% by mail. So there is a change in the process.
Yeah.
For the first 100 years, the PC Party of New Brunswick was just
Always
getting around a room and
in
say, okay,
person.
we're going to find, it's your turn, Joe, to go this time.
Right.
The last 25 years, it's one member, one vote. And the last...
with in-person conventions.
with in-person conventions, 100%.
With some satellites.
Exciting.
And in
but-
2016, we had satellites and one big convention. And I think it was a long day that day. So hence the reason why in 2022, the PC Party of New Brunswick decided to move forward on 100% by mail, which we see at the federal level with the Conservative Party of Canada,
Okay.
and at the provincial level also with the Liberal Party, because they have a hybrid where you can vote online and vote by mail at the same time. So we're trying to help New Brunswickers. However, when you change the process, there's always questions, comments. So that's where we're on the process.
Yeah. So it's, well, basically, I mean, you have a riding nomination. You know, most of anyone elected, you go through a riding, an election for a nomination, but this would be an elevated times 49. And a lot of it is meeting New Brunswickers, meeting members, but also educating them on the process and deadlines. That must be one of the biggest parts of your conversation.
By far, to your point, Jack, it's sensitizing New Brunswickers, that awareness on the process. And you have to realize a leadership is not an election. We're not here to debate policies at this point. This is about who's going to have the most members on his or her team to decide who's the next member. So we're going to have debates. We're going to talk about, but it's more on the, I think it's one of the reasons why the day of my, I launched, I announced a 5-point plan for the PC Party.
Okay.
How are we going to improve the PC Party in New Brunswick? We need to increase our memberships. We need to professionalize the PC Party apparatus. We need to empower our ridings where we have a 49 on 49 strategy. We need better fundraising. That's how political parties survive in democracy like New Brunswick. It's fundraising. And I'm committing to a policy convention in the spring of 2027. The last policy convention that we had was back in 2008, if I believe. So
Just was in
we're
one election.
I'm not saying we're in an identity crisis, but it'd be a good juncture, I think, a time to start talking about politics and having a strong platform, because what we've seen in previous governments and governments all surrounding us, they have been going early. So we have to be ready. The 1st of September 2027, we need a good slate of candidates. We need a strong platform so we can show New Brunswickers that we are a viable alternative.
Let's back up a little bit, Dan, because you talked about, I want to talk about the 7 out of the 49. You need 20 members, at least in 7 of those ridings. So that for the party, that is to ensure that there's, I guess, some wider coverage of membership or people engaged. I mean, because we've talked for years about, well, you know, we could throw 3 ridings together and get enough members to carry a member through if you had enough people signed up.
100%.
So I guess that's a positive thing.
It's a
that I'm
look.
seeing.
We're evolving as a party.
haven't-
I think they want to see people from all across New Brunswick. You know, sometimes I get criticized. You know, I'm not being conservative enough, or we are doing this to appease francophones. Guys, the PC Party of New Brunswick has a long history. We believe in the 2 official languages. We believe that we have to work with First Nations. We believe that the power to be an entrepreneur, the will of the people that's what we believe in. We have our 10 principles.
But your challenge is to bring those principles back.
100%.
Get people to trust them again.
And to have
And engage in
representation
them,
from
which
all
is-
49 provinces.
which
Because
is-
one of the challenges, I think, of the PC Party right now, there are some ridings that are very not represented or don't even
Not
have
organized.
a functional association at all.
Right.
So to qualify for the leadership, the requirement is 20 signatures per riding,
Well,
give or take.
In
like
7 of the 9
7 of the
regions,
9.
and you need 500.
total.
Oh,
So
yeah.
So you need the application, you need the background check, the
Yep.
credit check, you need the application fee, plus
deposit,
the 500 names. So hence, at that point, you become an official candidate.
Right.
Right.
So right now, it's easy to, but you got to go through the process. So for myself, look, it's been great.
Yeah.
Jeff and I were just talking how I'm putting kilometers on my car. I said it during local governance reform. I'm still doing it today. I've done over 35,000 clicks, I think, since July already. So because people want to be, actually, people are really hyper political right now. You know, we've had a federal election. You know, we all know what's going down south. And people want to talk about politics. People want to have a great conversation, but they want to be listened to. They want people really not to tell them what to do, but they want to be listened to, and they have ideas. So let's talk to them. And I think it's about re-engaging New Brunswickers, rebuilding our party, and really reconnecting and reflecting where did we go before and where can we go in the future.
Interesting point you make in your 5 points about a 49 riding plan. So for our listeners at home or our viewers at home, when I say riding, or when we say ridings, that's our constituencies. Each constituency has a member of the legislature that sits in the New Brunswick Legislative Assembly. But underneath all of that, we have organizations. There's a PC party riding association in each one. There's a Liberal one, some Green ones, some NDPs. But there has been some issue over the last number of years with not all ridings, like you said, that are functional. They've been disengaged. They've been set aside. And in some areas, those ridings, they're hard to get engaged. So tell us what your 49 riding plan is going to be about. Like how are you going to go about that? Or are you working on it now?
I'm working on it now. Jeff, it's about communication. It's about organizing. We haven't had regional organizers, I think, at the party level in a while. So for myself, I'm going to each riding, meeting people from all across, from St. Stephen to Edmundston to Grand Falls to Sackville to Tracadie on a great Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. It was great. So we're rebuilding those connections, and I think that's important because I think all of New Brunswick want to partake and have a say on their future. Right now, we have 16 great MLAs. They're all in rural New Brunswick. If you look at, we have one from an urban. So out of the 8 cities, we have MLA Conroy.
Right,
in Miramichi
City.
Our leader has about 10, 15 polls in St. John. And Ryan Cullen from Fredericton, New York, probably has 10, 15 polls. So out of the 24 urban ridings, we have maybe, let's say, 1.5, 2 MLA. So I think look, New Brunswick is a tough place. It's a tough place to do business. But right now, it's not about French English. It's knowing the rural reality of New Brunswick and the urban realities of New Brunswick. We cannot move forward with blanket policies that it goes for all of New Brunswick. It should be more targeted for specific areas. This summer, I went to Plaster Rock. You know, there's an X-ray machine there. It's being used maybe once a day. We met with the PC Association. There was like 5 or 6 ideas there already. It was a great discussion. I was in Charlotte County last week with MLA Kathy Bacchus for a Christmas dinner. You know, we talked to Mayor Stanix, Mayor Harvey Matthews from Campobello. They've got great ideas too. So people want to have a say in their province, and that's why it's really important, Jeff, to move forward on a 49 strategy, making sure everybody's represented, but we get the best candidates possible to make sure that we can form government, but show New Brunswickers that we're a viable alternative. Because if we don't, people don't see the PC party of New Brunswick as a unified and viable alternative, they won't vote for us.
That's very true. All righty, well, let's take a break.
Yeah, let's take a break. We're going to end our first segment right here, spend a few minutes with our good folks at CHCO and their stakeholders, sponsors, and advertisers, and we'll be right back after a few minutes.
Hi there. Welcome back to the Carr Brothers Show. It's episode 153. I'm Jack.
And I'm Jeff.
And Jody sends his regrets. The third Carr wasn't able to make it, so we'll look forward to him coming back next show. And with us is the Progressive Conservative leadership candidate. The only one that's announced thus far is Danny Allain. Danny, thanks for coming on our show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're very pleased. We've known you for 25 years plus. As you mentioned in the first segment, you've been a lifelong progressive conservative and stepping up and made the announcement back in October that you're seeking the progressive conservative leadership. And we've chatted about why and your 5-point plan and things like that. And so you were elected, it was from 2020 to 2024. And in 2023, we might as well just kind of get the elephant there in the room. In 2023, it was a bit of a revolt by a number of MLAs, including Jeff, yourself, Danny, with some issues with the Higgs government, with Blaine Higgs, the former premier. How is that playing in your process? How's that rolling out? How are you feeling any effects?
No, that's good. No, it's yes. Look, when you make a big decision like that affects a lot of New Brunswickers, it was well publicized. We saw it from a national perspective. Yes, people talk about it, but I can tell you right now that the 54 meetings that I did this summer, I was asked about it once. That's it, on that specific question. People want to talk about the finances in New Brunswick. We're going to be $4 billion in debt while this is over. Énergie Nouveau-Brunswick, MB Power. What are we doing with our energy needs? You look at St. John, the Irvings are spending $1.5 billion in a private investment. The single biggest investment in New Brunswick, in Canada right now, because they don't have enough power. They need more power. So a question like that in the former government was, but I think people have moved on. It's
That's what
something.
I was thinking. Maybe people just want to move on and concentrate on the issues that matter to them.
I definitely think so. I think with what has happened in the South, I think economic issues, pocketbook issues. I learned a lot lately from the election in Newfoundland when Mr. Wakeham indicated, look, the finances and the energy we talked about, that's something that will be there for the next couple of years. We can include healthcare, but in New Brunswick, it's the day-to-day. Education is a big issue right now. Wow. The pocketbook issues, and one that is a sleeper, it's public security. I've never felt, going to communities, the angst of New Brunswickers on even just going to the store. Talked about policing. You look at local governance reform and the Finn report back in 2007. One of the big issues was to work on a policing reform.
Right.
And we had talked with our former premier about it. Again, it's a big question because the federal government has to decide if they move forward with the RCMP. The contract finishes in 2032, I think. So they need, by 2030, we have a big question. So as New Brunswickers, we have big questions that we have to ask ourselves on finance, healthcare, Point La Pearl, Mactaquac, the need for new energy, policing. So I think at this juncture, that question that we talked about in 23, which is Policy 713, people have moved on. It's something that, for me, it's more of a process issue than anything else. I think we experienced it differently, each MLA. But for myself, it's for a process where caucus should have a say. Cabinet, we're once among equals. So you come out with a team decision, and that's how you move forward. And I think that's what I learned from that stage of my life. But I want to move on. And
now, second language issues. There's, I guess every government gets criticism, whether it's too far, not enough, and of bringing the two languages and keeping the two languages together. And I fully believe in two official languages, and I think most New Brunswickers do. There was some criticism with the Higgs government before policy. Before the policy 714, but do you feel that? Do you regret not speaking out over the second languages rather than
on the
waiting
official
until
review of the Official Languages Act? I think was pretty adamant. I draw my line in the sand, as we spoke in November of 22. I indicated to the Premier through a letter that was public that we could not move forward on certain issues. It was bound because of the Constitution. So I think on that one, we should have acted earlier. I think I've said that many times. Official Languages Act is not something to divide us. It's something to unite us. It's important, and let's deal with it. And like I said, right now, there's bigger issues than language. It's the rural reality versus urban reality. If the PC party of New Brunswick does not understand the urban realities also, we will be stuck in the opposition for the next 2-3 terms.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You hit the nail on the head. You have it just every elected official when there's, second language and official languages come up. Sorry, not second language, official language is what I meant to say. Can decide where should you speak out about this or speak out on that. But then the division, I'm sure you had a conscious thing. You have to have a balance, because if you create a huge public issue, same as 714, but it can be very divisive and very a lot
Jack,
of wounds.
And you just hit the nail on the head. It's about balance.
Right.
The PC party has a strong history of finding balance. We reflect. We're rebuilding right now. We're going to re-engage. And the PC party of New Brunswick has had always governments. And look, what I learned from the past government is that we were a team to a certain point, and there's one or two subjects that just we couldn't get along on, and that's the challenge. We need to get along on 100% of the subjects, and I think New Brunswickers want us to make sure that we're ready, that we have those discussions. They want to know what we stand for, what we value. And to Jeff's point, we have the 10 principles of the PC party that are there. Should they be tweaked? Should we tweak some of our? Well, that's why let's have a policy convention in 2027. Once the leadership's done, we'll make those decisions, and we'll provide New Brunswickers a great platform, because I know one thing right now. The Liberal leader has set expectations. If it's they're not moving forward on the $8 on gas, or they're not moving forward. The province of New Brunswick will be $4 billion more in debt, and we're going to have bigger deficits, a deficit of $1 billion. No plan on energy. No plan. We're a year and a half in this government. There's no plan on energy. And education, wow. Well, I'm not even going to start there. So people are realizing that this government has serious issues, and they have to manage expectations, and they're not doing a good job at it right now.
I just want to go back to when you talked about, you asked Dan if he thought he voiced his concerns enough about the Official Languages Act. And we've talked about this, and you would understand it too. Those of us that are in government at the time, we hear it all the time, but a lot of maybe the regular listener or the person out in public, they're so focused on their own day-to-day life that they may not pick up on when we're talking about those things a lot. But I do remember, because I was just freshly coming back into cabinet for my second time, and that was the kind of the discussion of the day on the inside, and I came back in October of 2022, and you sent the letter in November of 2022. I was very fresh, new in cabinet. Without saying too much, Dan was sitting next to me in cabinet, and it was interesting discussions. I have to say, but that's on the inside that we can't really talk about. But
the Hansards will be public in 25 years. So
25 years,
people will have access in 25 years.
Or will they be? Because for some odd reason, somebody lost all their notebooks from when they were in the Premier's office.
There you go.
But it was, so we do, as normal public, we don't hear a lot about it. Did Dan get criticized in his own areas? I don't know. Maybe some. There's always criticism where you don't go far enough, and you for me, as environment minister, people think I didn't go far enough on spraying, right? And I would hear a lot of that, but I did the best that I could at the time for what I had to work with, and so it was just a little interesting
that balance
flashback
between service, respect, and results, and we tried the best on the information we had at the time. Looking back at the past, there's people that are really good at looking back to the past. But I'm the kind of individual, and my candidacy is all about looking at the future. As I indicated, we have kids, grandkids we're working with, and we want to see them in a better place. So that's why we're doing this. And I think there's great people around the table and around this province that want to give back, and they want to give back. They've been disappointed in politics. Some of it felt ignored. They stopped believing even. So I think we got to get those people back. There is still a lot of positives from our last government.
Oh, yes.
Governments, all word to Lord also. So let's take what was positive. Let's see how we can improve, and let's make sure we re-engage with New Brunswickers. I think that's the message to New Brunswick today, that the PC party is still strong. Do we have some issues? Yeah, we're working them out. There's going to be a leadership, and let's get united. And if I don't win this leadership, it's all right, because I showed New Brunswickers that it's all right to do politics in whatever language you fit. And I felt as ease with our group, and that's why it's important for me that we move forward as a team.
Good stuff.
Well, tell us about, let's do a little flashback.
Okay.
2020 election, your name is on the ballot the first time. You were in the Premier's office for several years at different levels and volunteer with the party. You get elected. You're our only Francophone in caucus at the time, right?
In cabinet.
You're in cabinet, sitting at the table, not as a staffer. Was it everything you thought it would be, or was it just a different perspective?
That's a loaded question, but it's a great question. And
because nobody knows until they get there.
Until you get there. And as you indicated, I was Premier Lord's executive assistant. I worked in the Premier's office with Premier Alderwood. So this is my third time working with a great bunch of people, and my third Premier. And you're right. Radio-Canada was tough on me on the only Francophone and all that, but I got elected because of Moncton East. That was my main priority. 2 weeks after, I had the privilege to, I didn't think at the time, but becoming the Minister of Local Governance and the Local Governance Reform. I looked at the Premier and said, okay, what's this reform? I've seen the local governance before, but never saw the reform part.
Did he have an answer for you?
So, yeah, a little bit. Because they had those the previous administration, you guys had discussions already, so it started it.
Yeah,
but
we couldn't land on a way forward, though.
It was tough. It's look, at the end of the day, doing the structures was easy. We had 4 pillars in the local governance reform, so it was about structure, planning, the finances, and I forget the planning, security, and all that. So those were the first 3 were easy, were really easy. But anytime you come to the financing part, that's where it's challenging. And you see that the Liberal government just announced $63 million for local governments. They went on a per capita basis. So it's actually, I would say, in the contrary of equal opportunity. So I've got some people that criticize me that we did something that goes against equal opportunity.
That's right.
The Liberal government's just giving it on a per capita basis. So why don't they criticize them? So for me, look, at the end of the day,
nobody's talking about it, though.
Nobody's talking about local governance reform.
But I mean about that
per capita
funding that they just announced. They're not hearing it.
So it does go to show you that the Liberal Party does not own equal opportunity like they claim to.
100%.
Right? They don't own it.
They
Look at Richard
do not
Hatfield,
own it.
Bernard Lord, David Alward.
And at the time, Louis Robichaud was the first Acadian, so I'm proud of that.
A lot of respect
for
that.
It was a great marketing, centralized. Everybody was centralizing across Canada at the time. There's numerous studies on that. So, but equal opportunity, they took the province basically took over social services, justice, education, and health, and that's what it was. But again, there were some regions in New Brunswick that had a hard time, so we wanted to disperse the wealth a little bit. So, we see the results today. We hadn't touched it in 40 some years. Numerous studies about it for the last 25. So that's why I still commend our government of moving forward on a reform. It's not easy. It wasn't 100%, but at least it's still something that we can work on. And a lot of the heavy lifting through the Minister of DTI and Education, Environment that was next to me, there was a lot of stuff done. And I think we can, it's a good playbook to move forward on discussions with New Brunswickers on other issues too.
What do you think? I'm just going to stay on that.
No,
topic,
you go
'cause
ahead.
What I want to talk about is forced amalgamations. I live in a municipality that was forced, and I don't agree with it. Will you give New Brunswickers an opportunity to say, you know what, I want to, as a community, we don't want a municipality. We want to go back to, and I know it's this going back thing, but going to another option, which is, an LSD, local service district model. How do you balance that? Where some like forced amalgamations to kick the can down the road, as Blaine Hicks, says, and others, they want to keep things the same. So what's your feelings on forced amalgamations? Obviously you support them, but do you support them today?
Look, at the end of the day, we didn't want to force anyone to do anything. However, the municipal associations and municipalities themselves need better governance at the same time.
Need that.
So that's why we move forward. We gave them a tool of the Local Governance Commission to try out to take out the politics of it. That the new commissioner, she just indicated that they need more training.
Yes,
they need more. So I think we're on the right path. So that would be the conduit to go through if some municipalities feel that they could divide themselves or do something become smaller. That's all right. Let's have that discussion, but it shouldn't be a political discussion anymore. Because when you have the emotions into it, let's have an independent commission, the Local Governance Commission, to look at that. I think she's asking for more teeth. I think the legislation that we provided was just the start. So I hope that this government or the next government, that's something that we should work on giving the Local Governance Commission more teeth and more say on how to evaluate. Because now we can actually, we'll have.
What are the metrics?
It's been 3 years, so what are the metrics, the KPIs that we had starting in 2022, and maybe it doesn't work. But I know at the end of the day, New Brunswickers needed changed because we had 325 local districts, entities, and we reduced it. Now at least it's more manageable. Can we increase it a little bit? Maybe so. That's not for me to decide, but it's for communities to have a say and to have the tool, the appeal process, and that tool should be the local governance reform instead of the court. So,
Good.
Commission. Have Giselle Gauguin and her folks in
Her
that
team,
commission. Her team look after that, and if there's certain metrics that are put in place, are you meeting those? Is the municipality meeting those? Are they digressing?
And
have they been put in supervision several times over?
Some of them, because it's I think it's the lack of HR. So that, again, we could have been better partners. But when you look at the 77, so out of the 77, there's 71 municipalities that existed. There's only really 2 that are having some challenges. Look, I'm still in the municipal world. Mayors still call me at least once a week
me too.
on an interpretation or what was your decision behind that one. Definitely there's in Mickey's Mill in Saint-Antoine, there's when they decided the map, I wasn't in the room. I remember I talked to the mayor, I talked to the mayor of Saint-Antoine, which would be Chandoré and Bactouche, and our intention was to keep the same, but unfortunately somebody put a map and they're having big discussions today. That's why it shouldn't be a political decision.
No.
Bring the challenge to the Local Governance Commission and give them, it's a quasi-judicial body, so that's why they can do probably a better decision for New Brunswickers than
But that map that you're talking about down there in
Yes.
Chandoré, that wasn't in your former riding boundaries, was it? That was outside?
It was outside my
So my comment to that is because
it was outside my riding. Yes.
my comment to that is because myself and a lot of my colleagues paid very close attention to those maps and where they were, and when we saw that there was an issue, we'd talk to our local mayors.
100%.
So that would tell me that the local person there, I don't know if it was Benoit would be in that area or who it was, they just weren't. You have to be paying attention to those things.
Oh, big time.
Like there was lines here in the Gornish area that I had.
Because we're doing the municipal reform and the boundaries reform on the ridings, on the 49 ridings. So that
ridings.
was, so trust me, people,
overlap.
and the people that didn't look at it, well, that's why they're paying the price today.
That's for sure. You're bang on because you have to get down into those
our job.
details. Back when I was in MLA in the same riding, Jeff, as you, is forget now if it was health or education, it was one of them. And redrawing of those maps, and you have to get right down and read. Is that Gillett? Was that the boundaries Gillett Road and not the county line? You know. But I find most times these commissions are open to, or in my experience, that they were open to, oh, thank you very much for bringing that to our attention, because they were splitting say it's the health region. Yeah. When they didn't mean to do it. But if you don't catch it, it can create a lot of problems.
And I remember the hospital in Saint-Anne.
Right.
When the first map started, it wasn't in Bouctouche.
Yeah.
It was just in an LSD. It was Bouctouche wanted it. So, again, to your point, the mayor were really strong on that. But when you look at my riding, and I think, Jack, you went through it too, the riding of Moncton-East was split in four. Wow. Or three, sorry.
Yeah, we were 3 here.
So that's why up to in 2024, I didn't know which riding I was going to run into. So, But Moncton-East boy, the actual riding of Moncton-East today is not the same riding. It's severely changed. It's like more the old Moncton Center riding. So. Okay. Writings change. So that's,
and you know, as I shouldn't say as often, because we only review those every 10 years, but every time a boundary redraw comes along in those ridings, the local people, they don't either forget that it happened 10 years ago, or it really didn't affect them that much 10 years ago, or they just weren't paying attention to the change, and they can be very upset
until election time.
Yes.
And they received their place to go vote, and they said, well, I've never voted there. So I know in Moncton-East, there's a Grove Hamlet was in the riding of Bouctouche, not Bouctouche, Sainte-Marie-de-Kent. And they said, what? We never voted here before. No, we traditionally would always vote at the K Arena or the Louisville Middle School. This time they were voting on the other side of the highway. And what?
That happened to us too.
It did.
It usually at election day, that's the worst.
Yeah. Well,
that's great.
What a great discussion.
I think so.
Appreciate you having here.
Yeah.
We're going to take another little break, a short one here. We're going to let our folks from CHCO share some inspirational information from their local stakeholders and advertisers, and we'll be right back in a few minutes.
Hi there. Welcome back to the Carr Brothers Show. It's episode 153. I'm Jack.
And I'm Jeff. And unfortunately, Jody had to send his regrets this evening.
Yes.
He is out on the road on another mission. But we hope to have him back next week. It's been hard to nail down all three of us at one time.
It can be very challenging.
Last little bit, but you know we're working at it.
We're doing it. We're doing it. You know.
Tonight, who do we got with us tonight?
Well,
talk about Dan.
Danielle Allain, friend of ours, friend of many. Known him for a number of years, 25 plus years with the Progressive Conservative Party, and former MLA from 2020 to 2024, among many other things on the resume. But most recently, Danielle Allain is the Progressive Conservative leadership candidate for next year's leadership for our party. Right now, we have an interim leader, Glenn Savoy, who's elected in the legislature. And Danielle, we're very pleased that you've come on the show to tell us why you've decided to seek the leadership and what are the next steps. And your slogan is reflect, rebuild, and re-engage.
Yes, thank you. It's been it's been a great process up to now. New Brunswickers have been. I've been traveling all across New Brunswick this summer to see if I should run, and I made the leap on the 18th of October. It's been going great. Next week, later this week, I'm back in Fredericton, St. John, trying to do St. John at least once a month. I went to at least once a month, even lately once a week. Camelton, Dalhousie next week. So I just can't wait to visit the port of Dalhousie and what's going on in Camelton and Grand-Sault, Edmundston, Peninsula, and here in Fredericton and St. Stephen. So it's great. It's great meeting people and talking about issues, and a lot of people asking what it's all about being an MLA. It's fun.
Well, we had coffee, you and I, a couple of weeks ago, and I've not declared or committed to any leadership candidate, but we had a great discussion, Danny, and a great discussion tonight as well. And one of the things that I'm always impressed to hear about is 49 out of 49. Every riding is important. Not only to you as a leadership candidate, but potentially as a premier and as a leader. So that impressed me. The other thing too is even using the term poll captains, and the next follow up is going to be what makes a great candidate in MLA. But even bringing up, we haven't heard poll captains
in a while. You're right. You're right, though.
And so. Talk a little bit about that. Like, what is a poll captain? Why is that significant? And it looks as if you get 5 co-chairs, 9 regions, and you're building a web.
Yep.
Talk about poll captain. What's a poll captain?
So the importance in New Brunswick politics is you have to know that there's 49 ridings.
Mm-hmm.
In those 49 ridings, there are usually about a low of 25 to 35 polls. In any election, there's about 1,500 to 1,600 polls.
Right.
So a poll captain is an individual who takes care not of a municipality, but in a neighborhood.
Right.
Because you really need to know your neighborhood, your people that you work with, because it's important. As a candidate and to be an MLA, it's knowing your people.
Yeah.
Going to Tim Hortons is important, but knowing the issues, the infrastructure needed, knowing your counterparts at the federal and municipal level, that's what being an MLA is all about. So when I say poll captain, for myself, it's that we have 49 ridings, we have 49 poll captains, and for that, I'm proud to say that that I have an individual in each riding that's ready to look for some memberships, give me feedback, organize meetings, and that's important. And it just shows that the PC party, we need to do the same thing. Because right now we have what's called President's Council, and I would suspect that we don't have a full President's Council. So we have to organize ourselves, and that's why through my 5-point plan, it's important for myself not only to do fundraising, memberships, policy, but having a 49 or 49 strategy. And we've always been candidates.
Yeah.
And you look for what do I need to be a candidate?
Yeah.
Well,
what makes a great candidate or a great
and I think
MLA?
it's people are tired of the politics that people overpromise and underdeliver. They're tired of division, and they're tired to see leaders or candidates that talk instead of listening. They want to come back to have a great conversation, and I think a good candidate today listens. It's a person with experience of life. It's that's what makes the Legislative Assembly so diverse is that we have people from all walks of life. I think traditionally before 1950 they're all a bunch of lawyers and judges, and now it's pretty much diverse. So that's important, and that diversity, we've seen that diversity in caucus. And that's why I think the PC party, we are a big tent. We have people from all kinds of spheres in life, but what is important and as we unify is that a good candidate, a good MLA works with a constituency. They know their constituents' needs, their wants, their challenges, because it's nice to have some infrastructure. And when we talk about a school or a hospital, but services. Bernard Lord always said it's not about all bricks and mortar sometimes, about the services that people provide. And that's what it's opened my eyes that, people in rural New Brunswick feel they don't have their services. And that's important right now. But the urban areas are feeling the same way. And security, it's unbelievable. It's my sleeper subject.
Public safety.
Public safety is really important.
Crime, drug issues, right?
Our schools, some schools have the infrastructure, some not. So change is good sometimes. And I think pocketbook issues. So a good candidate, a good MLA is going to understand that. And not everybody's made to be in cabinet. You have to take your time to learn the ropes, make sure you move forward with some good ideas. And some people are great communicators. Some people are great policy providers. And some people are just darn good at doing politics. And that we all appreciate. And I think that's what life is all about. So,
and it's I think as well as valuing though, and it's good that you're talking about those attributes, because you mentioned a couple of seconds ago about it's not all about being the cabinet minister, and I can talk this way because I was never a cabinet minister, but did all right as a constituency MLA.
You did
Yes,
great.
sir.
And
You did
a lot of
great.
times that's not necessarily valued at
Right.
different levels and different areas, because it's like, well, who's the cabinet minister? Because that's where a lot of the authority and a lot of the power and a lot of change can take place. But I'd like to see more things where the good old backbench MLA, instead of taking away seed weeks, taking away this, taking away the say, there's less and less say of a backbench MLA And I like the discussion because, in the policy convention in 2027, there'll be some ideas that maybe I'll bring forward about how a backbench MLA can be more significant, more instrumental, I guess, at
100%.
the cabinet table.
And I think we've seen at the conservative level, Michael Chong,
Yes.
that when he was relegated to backbench, found some incentives for caucus to become more of a team. And that's important. And I think if there's something that I've learned that's, I'm a hockey player. I love to play hockey. I play 3 times a week. This is about team. New Brunswickers elect a team of individuals that want to have a say, and basically they want to see a center-right party that is fiscally conservative and socially progressive. Can we move a little bit conservative on some subjects and more progressive? Yes, we can do, because that's what the PC party does. It's about balance. And at that time and place today, what's most important? Economic issues, energy, education, healthcare, our environment,
and public safety.
Public safety. We look at the way we're developing our natural resources, but the way we exploit our resources too. Forestry, farming, fishery. That's what New Brunswick was built on. Unfortunately, for the last 250 years, we've been doing it one way. For the next 250 years, we're going to fish, we're going to farm, and we're going to develop our resources, but we'll have to do it with the First Nations. We have to do it in environmentally friendly ways. And that's important too, because we want to give a good legacy for our kids. But the development of natural resources is, today we're at economic war with our people with the people down south, and we have to make sure New Brunswick has great resources. Let's use them, and let's use them fully.
That's great. And then, so do you have your riding captains? Just a little bit about that. Do you have all 49 of your riding captains?
Everybody's been identified. So we have Wes McLean from hails from the capital of the Carleton region. Monica Barley for the Westmoreland and Kent County with Claude Williams. We've got Gertrude McLaughlin and Régent Savoie for La Péninsule and Miramichi. We have Lisa Keenan for the St. John area. So, we've got great people. We've got our pole captains besides that. We had our first meeting on Saturday. We're just going through the motions right now, just trying to figure out the process, because it is an arduous process, but we're getting there. We're working on our 508 signatures to go get. And I can't wait after Christmas to start after the 15th of January to start talking to New Brunswickers and making sure that by the spring that they know who and what we are all about, and that's important.
So what's the most the closest deadline that's to come for New Brunswickers and PC party members? What's their
So the big one is to become a member of the PC party.
Member of the party,
or
$10.
to pay your $40 to become an elector by the 14th of August.
Okay.
That's the biggest one. The 19th of June is an individual can put his or her name in. So right now I'm the only one. I'm sure there'll be one more at least. So I'll know who we're moving forward on, and we'll have great discussions on the PC party and to move forward. And what we see in the future, we'll have 1 or 2, 3 different views of how it should be going. But I bring a view where I see in New Brunswick, which is center right. We have 3 great premiers, 3 great governments the last time, and I'm a conservative with a heart. And that's how I look at myself. That's important for New Brunswickers to know, that we are not on the right road on fiscal situation. People look at, or a deficit, it's at 800. No, it's going to be $1 billion by its finish. And in the budget, it's indicated it's going to be between $3 and $4 billion by this is done.
By the end of the term.
By the end of the term of 2028. So that's why we got to be ready. 1st of September 2027, strong policy, strong platform, a good discussion slate of candidates. We don't have to have 100% of them, but we need a good slate so we can get ready for the next election. And I think
you'd have your nominations early. You wouldn't make
we would,
because one of the things that happened with Jack in his by-election in Grand Lake was that
in the general election. 2006.
It was the general election. Yeah. That's right, down in Grand Lake, was that his nomination was so close to writ drop.
Well, it was not close. It was after. Was it after? Well, the election was announced, And then it wasn't after the election was announced, and the week after the writ was dropped.
Right.
And then the nominations were held. But
Yeah.
5 of us had nominations that week, and I believe all of us lost by 200 and some votes.
And it just shows that we need to get organized.
Yeah.
As a party, we need representation in the 49 ridings. That's important. We have to be a conduit for change in all 49 ridings. People expect that. So let's work on that. We need a strong platform. So we need to have to talk about identity, who we are. That's why a politics convention can definitely do that. We see numerous parties across the world right now going through we're seeing from the right coming back to the center. So there's a movement there. So that's going to be interesting to see where it's going to be in 3 years from now. There's going to be we're aligned with a U.S. election at the same time in 2028. So that's going to be interesting. I think there's going to be a federal election before. I think this parliament will probably finish early next spring or actually next fall. So we'll have that, and we have the municipal elections here in New Brunswick in
spring.
May of 2026. So there's going to be a lot of change or possibilities of change depending what happens in those elections. So that's why the PC party, we're in a perfect situation right now to take our time. Let's have a great leadership, a great discussion, and let's be positive, and let's make sure that we don't attack people that want to partake in politics. Let's embrace them. Let's make sure. Let's talk about who you support. Please don't. And that's what I'm telling to my supporters. Don't attack anybody else. Talk about what we can provide and our vision. And I think the PC Party of New Brunswick has provided good government for New Brunswickers, and people expect that. And if we don't get our act together, we'll be relegated to opposition for the next couple of terms. So we have an opportunity of a lifetime.
So tell us, Dan, as we come to a close here with this episode. We really appreciate you being here, old friend of ours. We wish you the best of luck. How do people get in touch with you or your team?
It's really easy. It's at Daniel Allain, ALLAIN.ca. That's the best way. There is the website, danielallain.ca. That's the best way, people. If you want to become a member of the PC Party, you can go there. If you want to become an elector and endorser, it's there. If you want to partake and give some funds, the funding, it's through there. So look, it's a one-stop shop. That's important. I'm always on Facebook also. People can, I can see my detractors funding me on Facebook, so that's all right. But again, look, we're going to stay positive. We're going to reflect, rebuild, re-engage with New Brunswickers. That's my mantra. And look, to the people that are not enthused in politics, come on back. People that were tired of the discussions, let's have some new discussions. But let's make sure that we listen to people, that the PC Party of New Brunswick becomes the party that listens, that cares for people. Because right now, we are on the existing Liberal government is on collision course, not to meet their expectations. There's broken promises. You know, unemployment has reached its highest in 3 years. We had non-stop broken promises, and the unchecked spending is out of this world. So there's a campaign on public safety in Moncton that's called Enough is Enough, and enough is enough. You know, we've been working some files the same way for the last 50 years. We have to change that in public safety, and we have to show New Brunswickers that enough is enough.
Okay.
Well,
there you go.
Yeah, well, we want to thank you very much for
Thank
taking
you,
the time
Jack.
out.
Thanks, Jeff.
Your busy schedule. You know, we're friends.
We missed Jody. So
next
time. Jody.
We'll get Jody on next time.
That's right.
Longtime friends, and what I admire is that, you know, regardless of, I mean, we're within the same party, but regardless of opinions on this, that, or the other thing, we remain friends. And I think
100%.
that's key.
100%.
And we want to say thanks very much, but also remind people what channels they can catch CHCO. So I'm just going to find it here. I took a screenshot.
You've got a great list there that you've posted on our Facebook page of just exactly which platforms we're on. And Go through them, Jack.
Okay.
Well, before we run out of time.
Okay, I'll get this on there. So if you whatever you have a cable in your home, in New Brunswick specifically, is you have access to CHCO TV. So on Bell 5 is channel 26. On Bell Satellite is 539. Shaw Direct is channel 113. Rogers Xfinity is channel 133. And Rogers Digital Cable is channel 57. However, there's a few exceptions. Moncton is 59. Campbellton is 40. Charlotte County is 126. Graham and Ann is channel 27. And St. Andrews is channel 9. Plus, we're on our YouTube channel. Just Google the Carr Brothers Show on YouTube, and you can find us there too, plus on Facebook. So let's end it at that. And thank you again, Daniel.
Let's wrap it up.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
We'll see you next week. Same place, same time. We've got a special guest again next week. Stay tuned to our Facebook page at the start of the week, and you'll see who it is. Good night.
Good night.